Welcome to another episode of the Trifactor podcast.
This podcast is for Trini football pionks and international ones, where we get to discuss all matters of football, both Trini and internationally.
If you are a football fanatic,
this is for you.
If you just stumble upon here by mistake,
don't worry, God doesn't make mistakes. This is for you.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
Most importantly, give us your feedback for future content that you might be interested in. On this week's episode, we'll be discussing
we can discuss,
last but not least,
not particularly the intricacies about warfare or conflict, but the hypocrisy that is what is highlighted and what is not highlighted in the Premier League as issues that they stand against. We didn't see them standing against what's happening in Palestine.
no.
We didn't see them stand against the certain things happening in Africa and certain atrocities that happen in the Middle East. But they stand with Ukraine, which is fair. But it's just the which narrative is brought to the front.
And this is the problem. It's like a refereeing decision, right? I have no problem with a decision being made by a ref once I could see some rationale and some consistency. Them two things, right? Okay. I could see the rationale, but I see the consistency, and that is what does make it a bad decision.
Yeah.
You follow?
Yeah.
The consistency is no problem. Because men get fined for when shirts and things say free Palestine, when across the entire league, everybody wearing jersey, everybody this, take. And then China and all, when they decide, well, we don't broadcast, no games this weekend.
It's just say nothing.
We'll say nothing.
Get him a part of there.
Nobody.
What's that? They get messed with all the league and Saturday.
Get the
understand? They say nothing when Ozil was getting fight down for eating, right?
Yeah.
Not same China. Nobody had nothing to say. You understand?
Yeah.
Nobody. And this is what is getting mad. Because you see, lack of consistency. The lack of consistency is damning, right? Because
what's the reason? What's the reason for the flip flopping?
Well, first of all, interest that are at play. Because people, as they have said, this is not the Middle East. This is not.
We are biased to our interests and to people or
people that
parties that we like, right?
Yeah.
And the bias is clear, us.
Yeah. Even though this war is unprecedented, even though most of the major wars in the world in civilization history
definitely not unprecedented, especially in Soviet Russia.
It definitely includes a Western power. Almost all the wars includes a Western superpower.
And act like, oh my God, how did this happen? Don't mama guy. Don't come and give me no mama guy principle about this shouldn't happen. Don't give me that gas, right?
Yeah.
Don't give me that.
What do you think is football's? So, do you think the Premier League is correct in general to have a stance with regards to war? So to allow political statements, etc., as it relates to war. Do you think football should be involved in it?
But wait, do you all know it had a case of a yellow ribbon? Or you know that case?
No, what is that?
Remind me.
Pep Guardiola.
Oh, yeah.
Get in real trouble for wearing a yellow ribbon, you know.
with
For
Catalan.
Because
Catalonia.
Catalan was kicking up
Catalonia.
our fuss
With the
and trying to
Catalans,
go
yeah.
the separate way from Spain, you know.
Yeah.
The man was not that the man get in trouble for when I yellow ribbon, you know, but he can wear
That's
yellow
why I
and
should
blue
listen,
now.
and this is what I'm saying. The consistency
So I guess,
is
but that's
the
what I'm
big
asking.
problem.
So what I'm asking is, so there's two separate conversations. So obviously, we can all very easily spot the flip flopping, right? We could definitely spot the. All right, you now say no political statements. You now
But
say
this is okay.
thing, and here you go. All right, but suppositionally, do you think they were correct to before say no political statements and thing, or are they doing the right thing now, or is it somewhere in between?
I think it's more in between, but tending towards the right thing. Because the reality of the situation is with that platform, that thing, with stakeholders. All right, let's be real. The debate may not just be if they should be supporting it as a league. Yeah? You realize it's impacting World Cup qualifiers, right? This impacting the likelihood of a World Cup. In fact, it have all kind of ramifications and that we cannot focus on something that is essentially entertainment in a time of human crisis. Even though people do need something to switch off at,
So
you cannot
just talk about Bombay Hospital, a pregnant lady died and like
that is all of that is again people using convenient things to stoke and stroke and justify whatever, right? Tragedies happen every day, and because we hear about it so much, we have become numb to it, right? We can't expect football to fix all the world ills, but that does not mean it should go on like if it had nothing to do. Yes, let me focus on my business. No, it can't, right? The reality of the situation is sport is supposed to be a unifying diplomatic factor, right? Where everybody comes together, they perform under the same rules, they shake hands at the end, and everybody good. That is what sport's supposed to be. So it is irresponsible to expect sport to not take, I don't want to say interest, but not be aware and highlight these issues.
Now,
the problem is when they're inconsistent.
But, so I hear you, but I guess, how does that gel with the actions of sanctioning Chelsea? Abramovich, and sanctioning, I guess because so much of their finances is tied to Abramovich, now they're stopping regular things and function of the club.
Listen to me, right? You know me historically.
Because hold on, let's make sure I clarify this. Because I guess the part that I'm not understanding, I don't understand, so I'm asking, is so how do those actions tie into somehow fighting against the war, ending the war, disrupting the war? How does that do anything?
And this is my point. When you're doing things that are simply performative, it does make sense, right? I have never really liked Chelsea, right? But what they're doing them is unjust and wicked. It is unjust and wicked. Because let's be frank and real here, right? Sanctions is essentially bullying, if you think about it.
Sure.
It's bullying.
You can't play.
Right? Okay, you can think, all right, no problem. Say sanction him, right? He passed the fitness and ownership test. And he has continued to pass it because he was our owner for what
between 2004 and 2014,
right?
spent
15 plus years.
$2 billion.
He was all you're not bringing Newcastle owners, right? You didn't study that, right? Because why? Money was running, right? You get a chance now, you see, ooh, well, boy, you don't get your money, you don't use the team to build the profile of the league and everything and all, right? You realize it's not economically beneficial now. You're getting on like, nah, this is unjust and you're doing that. That is wickedness. You know why? Because it's just simply falling behind getting money and convenient morality, right? Because he was consistently passing the test of fitness and ownership.
Well, I guess, but no.
Resides in London.
He was
What I will give,
always.
what I will give as a quote unquote defense of the Premier League, all right? So there's a difference between, okay, you have ties to Vladimir Putin, who is a communist that is in a European superpower, right? Fine. But until there's war or something, you can't that should not be enough grounds to say, therefore you cannot pass a fitness test just because you have ties with a communist regime. Is that enough to say no?
In 2014, when Russia annexed Crimea, right?
Yeah.
Since then, he was trying to sell it, right? He had dual citizenship in the UK. He gave it up. And he applied for Israeli citizenship and he get through. Right? Because all that he realized, the way this man moving, not necessarily like he have any control over it.
Yeah.
But because of what he doing, it could put me in problems. And before it happened, let me edge back now. He has been trying. Right? He has been. Right? But the fact of the matter is, these actions, these sanctions, these things, are they really designed to affect something different, a different outcome? Or just for people to look, oh, well, look, we did something. Your mama guy.
I agree. Now,
I don't think it's mama guy though. I think they're serving their interests.
How is it serving their interest? Explain that. How is it serving the Premier League's interest or the UK government interests?
Well, for one, I don't think they like Roman.
Okay.
I think they I know
they like his money though.
They probably liked his money, right? But now with all this drama, they basically just took the club from him. And now who gonna do whatever they want with the club? Is he gonna sell it and get the money? Because they freeze everything.
No, he can't get the money.
So basically they strip him of our club.
Mm-hmm.
And this is convenient.
Mm-hmm.
And
how is it convenient? That's what I'm asking. How is it convenient to them to do that?
Who could buy the club now?
Let me put it like this.
Right? Could buy the club now.
And I don't know. If you want to strip somebody of an asset, the question becomes, who is going to gain ownership from that asset? Because it's not to say that it's a sale that money had to leave one place to go to the next place, right? Let me say let's strip the man of this asset. But they will say, well, is an institution, is that this, is that that. We need to keep it alive and well and running and blah, 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 blah. And somebody coming under the guise of social obligation and moral responsibility.
Oh, so they don't have a bidder lineup? 1.2 billion or the 2.1 billion?
Esau hardly ever wastes a crisis.
Esau. Anyway,
the man is a mighty hunter. Remember that.
It's just too convenient to us. It's just too convenient.
Right? I never liked Chelsea. You would hardly ever find me. You could go back through all them years, right?
Oh, for sure. I see.
But
I don't think anybody liked Chelsea who's not a Chelsea fan.
As a man, right?
I like Chelsea.
As a man, I still try to be fair.
I'm a huge fan of disruptors, So let's remember that about me always. Even if the source of the disruption is a little questionable, I'm a huge fan of breaking up the status quo. So
right.
The idea that Chelsea spending, so let me say, in the course of history, Chelsea has still spent maybe a third of what Manchester United has been able to spend or Liverpool has been able to spend. The fact that they spent it in the last 10 years doesn't make them the most egregious thing that ever existed. That's because of.
It's not that they spend it. It's the source of how they spend it.
I don't care. No. Like I'm saying, I'm not shifting the goal. I'm saying to you, I don't.
That is the same stance that the league takes.
No, but I'm saying.
You understand with that league in that stance?
No, but I'm saying to you, I don't care because realistically, based on you having, and I don't care how legitimate it is, it does not matter.
We don't know how legitimate any of the money is.
Right. So based on you having 100-year head start, you're telling me that you're gonna make it seem as if it's immoral for me to try to spend money to catch up to you? No, Firebun.
No.
The way how the so thank God for Chelsea and PSG and them, because think about it. When we were growing up, basically every good player, they play for whatever local team for a while, and then they aspire to the same 5 clubs.
Real, Barca,
they go in Bayern, Real, Barca, Manchester United.
Yeah.
Oh, and then sorry, and then AC Milan.
Yeah.
And Juventus, 6. So they go 6 clubs, period. No. It have to have more clubs that, you know what? I don't want to go to no blasted Manchester United.
I totally appreciate that sentiment, and to some extent I agree, right? The difference is, right, when you decide, well, yeah, well, the only way is either you get big overnight or you get big long term.
How I get big long term? How am I supposed to get big long? Hold on. How am I supposed to get big long term when they put in financial fair play in place?
Right. That is not important.
Which is designed to make me not be able to compete in the short, medium, long term.
But you are
so
saying,
just
right? Nah. You are saying it come like a girl who cutting style on people.
A girl, boy?
I'm out here. Richard.
What did Chelsea is wrong?
So the bacchanal I wanted to choke was about, but fair enough. I didn't know a lot about Roman Abramovich's actual ties to Putin.
Yeah.
So now that I know more about
something here,
go ahead.
Right? A study was done like last year or year before, and they was trying to trace like money leaving Russia and where it going, right? And they estimated it at about something like about 16 or 17 billion annually. That's what they could have tracked, right? But then they realized that based on how things moving through and everything, basically like maybe about 60% of foreign investments within England and Europe potentially have dirty sources originating from Russia, right? So it's very complicated. Most people don't understand how intertwined everything is, right?
We know,
and
but we ain't studying it because
you won't understand it, right? But you see, and that is why I believe this long game going on playoff where Putin going to be like, all right, well they're going to sanction me, no see. So you see how long they could keep that up without touching all this up, right? Because bet your bottom dollar, people will. It's just like they say, justice available to all once you're able to pay for it, right?
Yeah.
It will reach a stage where you see all of this rah and re.
Somebody pockets go get touched.
Yeah. Once the outcome not impacting the income, people can. Right? But they realize after they go on and the bad beg and they create this situation now where they're realizing that, hey, just now we're going to start to get squeezed from this. We had to do something. We had to either stop it or do it all to hell up, right? And it seems like right now, people pushing to the latter. So what chance you Messi going to get? What chance you Messi going to get?
But before I realized it was about his specific ties to Putin, I was hearing all these other oligarchs, things. I like how people pull out oligarchs now as they would. Anyway, it used to just be rich.
When the seagulls.
It used to just be, hey, he rich. Anyway, so I was hearing all these different Russian oligarchs getting their assets frozen, a man yacht get claimed, all kind of thing. So I'm like, wait a minute. So is this open season? Any rich Russian they could go after? So then under that line alone, with no connection to Putin, I was like, all right, so what about American owners? What about American owners when America waging war forever?
Careful.
Everywhere.
Careful, bro.
Rich Americans in England.
Careful, bro.
If that's what we're doing, if we're doing, human rights violation, anybody rich associated with that country, we going. But I think the real tactic is that they're saying no. If people can be shown to have ties to the tyrant in chief, then yes, we can target their assets.
As well as an essential part of how successful you are is strengthening network.
Absolutely.
That is the nature of our oligarchy, right? That's why certain oil companies does always end up getting first ground when certain places are taken over by the effort to ensure that and preserve democracy, right? We're not going to hide that fact. Let be real. And this is why the principle behind what you're doing is very, very important. The justification. Because if you don't do that,
this is not about human rights. This is not about standing with Ukraine. This is not about none of that.
It's mama guy, right? At the end of the day, people decide not enough money make it. And do something though. So what we for?
I don't know. I shake you. I'm not really with all the way on. Obviously, this was a good opportunity to do it, but it's almost like, so does that mean the British government has been eyeing up how to get in some of this football club Premier League money this whole time and just waiting for the right thing to happen to be like, we in there?
There are Roman headlines.
Why not, boy?
I don't know if it's Roman specifically is what I was saying. Because maybe they're watching City this whole time too, and it's like how we could get in there.
Long time.
All right.
Hey.
All right.
I
wouldn't be out here chanting no Roman Abramovich in a stadium, but
I won't do that.
I will say this is my visceral reaction was, this is absolute bullshit, right? My first reaction when I see the headlines, I was just like,
why?
How does this materially serve anything for the Ukrainians in any way? It does absolutely
nothing.
Advocate,
maybe Roman puts pressure on Putin to stop. I don't know.
Did you not? So the video you sent me, a dissenter was found dead the next week.
Yeah.
Right? No, I said this earlier in the other chat. No, I don't even if I try to put on that cap as a war tactic, where you're going to try to have internal pressure, I think the threat of Putin killing any dissenter is so high that is not going to work. Nobody's going to say, yeah, I'm going to turn on. Like, nobody's going to do that. So, no, this tactic just seems to be, who is it actually serving? It's not serving. It doesn't serve ending the war. It doesn't.
Okay, like this. When I turn on the man, when you get sanctions outside, you can rely on an external source, and B, your best chance of survival is rolling with you and hoping he get through. So by extension, you get through.
Yeah, it seems odd to sanction people. It seems odd to sanction people and then expect those same people to help you undermine the Russian government. Like it seems like an odd. How does that work? So sure, they could try to put pressure.
I don't know.
Yeah.
What a strange. So one thing I do want to touch on though before we close is just I find it very, 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 very unserious and unfair how the media questions coaches about these things.
Right.
We're trying to make a football coach the voice of a culture, the voice of the people, to have a nuanced take on political issues, etc. It is very unfair. Fair enough, you're in the media asking your questions, then go ask the club owner. Go ask ask somebody on the level that is, no, this person owns this club. This person is the chief whatever of this club. The Premier League, ask them questions about, wait a minute, so what does this say about Newcastle's acquisition? What does this say about Manchester City's acquisition? Right? Whatever. Ask them. Don't make this because for me, it's almost like it's trying to, as usual, bottom feeding. You could play Cantona clip here.
When the seagulls.
But it's just the media trying to use, oh, look what Tuchel say. He must be unhappy with the situation. That means his job. He probably want to leave. Okay, fine. You told us a story. You broke it first. You want to leave. It is. It's not unconscionable, but it's just very. Do better. Right? Do better than trying to find an easy, cheap quote to put against a coach for something that is so serious, or something that you're performing is so serious. You're acting as if it's such a serious thing, and you want to have this serious conversation, but really and truly, you're having it with somebody that means you're not serious. You know?
Yeah. At the end of the day, that'll sell. Or you get something to sell. Somebody had to buy a kilo.
Do better. Do better than selling whoever you had to sell.
His boy, like they say tragedies happen every day. What this did open my eye to is that the media shows what they want to, because there are several conflicts going on at this time. I didn't hear anything about some, which is it an eye opener or it's just sad?
A reminder if your eyes wasn't open for.
Say that again?
It's a reminder if your eyes was open for.
Yeah, so
Here's the other thing that happened. Sorry, one more.
yeah.
1 minute. So, the other thing that get hijacked, do you know when them fellas kneeling now, they don't even say Black Lives Matter no more? Nothing to do with Black Lives anymore? Watch it the next game. Watch it the next game how it's insane. It's insane how hard it is for that to be a message to stick behind. Right? So, in fairness to them, it's performative or whatever, but the kneeling thing, they stuck with the kneeling, right? Yeah. But the words with the kneeling, now it's for any form of discrimination around the world. Now it's for in solidarity with the war-stricken around the world. Now it's for solidarity with Ukraine. All of a sudden, there's no black. And I don't think it will go back to black. Right. I think with this here, it's not actually going to go back. Anyway.
It was a sad thing, us. All the people lives uprooted. That's what I think about the most. Or like, if it happened to us, and you could empathize, dog, and it's like, and also with that part, they just say Trinidad was a big bad country, and all three of us were billionaires, and we had certain ties, all gone.
Sanction, get out there. I'm taking it. It's mine.
Fellas, good episode. Hopefully, the powers that we choose peace and not violence.
That's right. I don't want peace.
Yeah.
I want problems always.
Yeah.
I don't want peace. I want problems always.
Yeah.
I
pray that peace prevails somehow.
Yeah.
I can't see it happening though.
It could.
I don't know what's gonna happen, to be honest.
I don't know either.
But
and while we I was listening history of Cristiano scored the most goals. This scary part of history is like we in the history books that we used to read in for, and it's not. It doesn't feel.
It was COVID.
What?
Now this.
Men crying when they're reading this 3 years and this 3 year period in the history books. It meant cardinal.
Yeah.
Anyway, gentlemen.
Definitely.
Appreciate it. Thanks for watching. Later.